Fans, we wanted to deliver the true, authentic TNA wrestling experience, and no better way to express that than with the Ultimate X, the high-wire free-for-all, an original in TNA wrestling and a very important part of the Impact video game. Through motion capture technology, we have now implemented this into the very video game that you're seeing right now.
Ultimate X may very well be the most identifiable feature of TNA Impact. It's so revolutionary and so new and so fresh.
We worked with the TNA ring builder. We had him come out to our studio in Chicago and custom build an Ultimate X ring for us.
You know, one of the biggest challenges of making Ultimate X in the gameplay is it's just attaching hands to ropes and making it look real and cool.
We've never done anything like this before. Trying to shimmy along cables, the physics that are involved with bouncing up and down on these cables, being struck from different angles, trying to unhook this belt at the intersection hanging over the ring.
I think that, you know, the motions that we got from those guys and how we're implementing it in the game is going to be a way to play a wrestling game that nobody's ever seen before. And I think the game mechanic of being up there plus being on the ground and trying to get guys up there and get people off of there and whatever is really cool, and I think people will really enjoy it.
You know, a video game is not just pretty pictures. It's great sound. And right here at TNA Impact, the video game, they're working around the clock to make sure you're getting the authentic sound you hear when you watch TNA Wrestling. From Mike Tenay and Don West to the chants in the crowd of the Impact Zone, you're going to hear it all, and you're going to hear it perfectly with TNA Impact, the video game.
And Mike Tenay and Don West are, of course, our commentators for our game.
Introducing from Elizabeth, New Jersey, Jay Lethal.
He's one of those guys you just have to watch out for. His speed and power make him dangerous. Showstopper! Showstopper! Showstopper by Eric Young!
Eric Young in control. Oh yeah, he's gonna go for it. Here it comes. It's the neck breaker by Eric Young.
They just said these things so many times, it comes so natural to them to do this. And then they play off each other just perfect. It's so natural for them to have that you know, excitement and energy in their voices, and very little directing towards those guys at all. And it's a dream.
We put Christy Hemme in there also. She looks fantastic as a three-dimensional model.
There you are.
It's me! Weird.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's digital you.
Yeah, that's really weird. The character looks very lifelike. It's got every inch of me done in the game, including all my tattoos, everything. So you definitely get a very personalized Christy Hemme in this game.
I totally got this covered. I'm an old pro at this stuff. You bet. 2 years of drama club.
Eric Young was in here with Christy Hemme not too long ago. He's every bit as funny in person as he is on the show. Really, really soft-spoken guy, but once again, another TNA guy who comes in, nails his line.
Can you keep him away? Are you wearing my perfume?
I love you.
Oh, creepy. That's it, this interview's over.
Not only in the TNA Impact video game do you get to play all of the great TNA stars, but you also get to see me.
Jeremy Borash is a huge favorite with the fans, so having him in the game, I think, just, you know, is really cool.
Introducing from Detroit, Michigan, he is the War Machine, Rhino. This is Shark Boy. This is the Icon, Sting. He is the Samoan Submission Machine, Samoa Joe. From Detroit, Michigan, this is Chris Sabin.
The easy thing with Jeremy is this is what he does all day long. You know, no one does it better than him, so it's quite easy to work with him. Every take we get from him is great. The difficult part is just selecting which is the best one to use.
If you watch TNA Impact on TV, you are very familiar with the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. But the good thing about the TNA Impact video game is we're not just taking you to the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. We're taking you to Las Vegas. We're taking you to Japan. We're taking you to London, England. And we're even taking you to Washington, D.C., the home of the Freedom Center.
The TNA Orlando arena is really the home of TNA. It's one of the arenas we had to get really right because all the fans know it.
Recreating the Impact Zone was a very involved and actually pretty exciting process. We had Sal down in Orlando at the studio for 2 days with their photographer. They even got up in a crane to take top-down shots of the mat and the floor and everything that's there. And what ensued after that was just rebuilding the whole thing piece by piece, trying to get every detail looking exactly right. We spent weeks watching the show, just trying to familiarize ourselves as much as possible with what the look and feel of it was and what the atmosphere of it was. And then we just went through and, you know, built everything down to the finest detail, down to the stitching on the aprons, every little wrinkle on the turnbuckles, actual blood stains that really exist on the mat.
When developing the Mexico arena, we really wanted something that felt like you were in the rural part of Mexico.
It's set up in this small Mexican town, and they've kind of just patched this whole event together with whatever they had. If you look at the mat that the wrestlers fight on, it looks like it was sewn together out of potato sacks or burlap or something like that. They've just got like these makeshift barricades made out of 2x4s with canvases and tarps thrown over them.
You know, not everybody starts out a superstar in professional wrestling. In TNA iMPACT, the video game, you got to start at the very bottom. Climb your way to the top. And before you make it to the big arenas in London and Japan and the iMPACT Zone in Orlando, Florida, you can start out here in the Armory, where things are tough and you got to climb your way to the top.
Yeah, the Armory is actually, again, an idea that Samoa Joe gave us. He told us that a lot of guys train there. A lot of people start off and they do these indie events in places like armories, and they just set up a ring in there and they have, you know, all the people in there training, and the soldiers and the troops are in there kind of watching, and I think it was a great idea, and it adds authenticity, and again, it's part of our story mode, but it's something that was based on real life.
So we also have an arena in England. And of course, it's my personal favorite. I'm English, so I'm looking forward to playing that one myself.
We spent a lot of time kind of looking at different venues in England, and one of those that really stood out to us was Royal Albert Hall. Now, of course, you know, we're not going to build a Royal Albert Hall, but we liked the kind of royal colors that were used there. There was lots of reds and golds and felt, and that's kind of what we went for with that.
So wrestling's really big in Japan. We wanted to build an arena in Japan to just kind of capture that whole vibe.
And basically, they just love lights, they love neon, they love lots of color. And that's what we went with when we built the entrances for Japan. We had giant neon lights everywhere, and they just, you know, they just love to light stuff up. With the aprons and with the mat, we actually have a lot of people who speak Japanese in the studio, so we spent a bit of time coming up with cool stuff to put on to the aprons and the mat and stuff like that.
The Freedom Center was a great opportunity to incorporate patriotic themes.
And our idea for this was just, you know, Americana. If you look at the entrances, one of them has got the American Eagle, you know, a giant sculpture of the American Eagle, kind of like, you know, perched in a very predatory pose over the arena as the wrestlers are coming out. The other side has got the Statue of Liberty, and our idea with that is as they come in, there will just be these giant red, white, and blue pyrotechnics firing up on either side of the Statue of Liberty.
The Freedom Center is a massive place. I mean, if you see the crowd in it, it's huge, and it's really one of these places that any wrestler would give their right arm to wrestle in.
Vegas is everything you expect from a trip to Vegas, or a venue that happens in Vegas. The lights, the spectacle.
So the Eclipse Casino in Vegas is probably the biggest, most grandiose part of our game. We did steal the idea from another one of Midway's games, which is something we'll expand upon later. But this is the true Vegas experience, and it's going to be really, really cool. Think heavyweight title match.